What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here with another review, doing Sideways #1. This is part of the DC New Age of Heroes, which have come out of the Dark Knight's Metal event, which I haven't been reading. I need to. Everyone says it's good. Maybe if a Light Week comes up, I'll go grab it. Anyway, I like this book. I liked it a lot. I know a lot of people are salty right now. Because one of the contributors has blocked a bunch of people on Twitter. I have decided to go into the mindset of move the needle as it is about this thing right here. This. It is about the book, not the people. I don't care what these people do or say. If the story is good, if the art is good, if it's compelling and it makes me want to read the next issue, that's all that matters, and this does that. So, kind of a brief thing about Sideways. He was in Gotham when the events of Dark Knight's Metal #1 happens, when I guess the Dark Universe tried to merge with ours. He fell into like a rift, came out 4 days later, and he has the powers. So, starting off, they do a really good job of catching you up on who he is, and not only that, kind of what he's about, and they do a really good job of writing a teenager how I would imagine a teenager would act today. So it starts off, I don't like this like flappy cover thing. He kind of riffs into this girl's room who kind of looks like a hot mess, but it says, you know, it's 7:03 a.m., an hour until school starts. So, admittedly, yeah, she probably just woke up. So she starts freaking out at him about, you know, invasion of privacy. But it turns out that she made his costume. She's obviously some sort of cosplayer or something along those lines. Either way. But it also turns out that not only is one of his superpowers able to rift places, but he also has super strength. Now he says he's not quite as strong as Superman, but he does all right. So I don't know exactly how strong he is, but he has no problem lifting a dresser. And he's obviously ripped. And it kind of goes into, again, they pack a lot into this, but it's fit in really naturally, and it feels like the pilot episode of a really good show that you want to keep watching. So you have the sister who's kind of the little bit of a weirdo. Not a weirdo, but she's, you know, a little quirky. But then, of course, she has a twin sister who's like the preppy one. So he's able to get in and out of places by rifting. Has two parents. They're obviously, it comes up that he is adopted. But it's very clear that like his mom is like the business professional. You can tell she's like a little more of the hard ass one, where his dad's, you know, Joe Schmo. I don't know, say what his dad does. I don't know if he just sits on that couch forever or what. But, you know, again, I like the art too. It looks, you know, it looks like refreshing. Like it's something kind of newish. The only thing I don't like this border. This like 90s kind of colored border. I mean, you could have had another couple inches to each panel. Not a couple inches, a couple millimeters or whatever. But anyway, it comes out that he's adopted. And ever since the things that happened in Gotham, his mom is being very overprotective of him. Just because, you know, obviously it was her adopted son. He went missing for 4 days in a city that was in complete chaos. You'd be hard up to not be a little overprotective at that point too. And this scene is what I really liked, because this is, again, being far removed from high school. This is how I imagine teenagers act and interact today. On your phone, eyes down, to where you're actually having a conversation with the person that you're talking to on your phone as you're passing them. And it's like, I get that. I can see this. Like, that's what a teenager does. It's not, look at other comics and they kind of make them either A, too adult, or too cutesy, whatever. I think that's an accurate depiction. And then, of course, you have somebody here saying, yeah, that's him. He was in Gotham when it happened. Now his mom drops him off at school. So you can tell that he also gets, he's getting flack for that, for his mom kind of loving him too much. So he goes into physics class and he kind of starts to daydream. And we get the origin story, which, again, does a good job of kind of catching up. He was in Gotham the day that Dark Knight Metal kind of went down, #1. And once again, attack of the double page ad right in the middle of something. What's that? It's a double page ad ruining the whole, just everything about the story. And then you get like one page and into another ad. So, he falls through, he comes out the other side of the city, and he blacks out. And again, you kind of get that he's not the coolest kid. Again, he's kind of getting picked on, but even some of the other kids are like, hey, look, he wasn't much of a talker before. He's not, one of the girls says that, I heard he's brain dead, that's why he doesn't talk. And he's like, he wasn't much of a talker, which, again, I know when I was a teenager, I wasn't the most talkative person. I like to be in my shell and kind of, you're in that awkward phase, especially when you're a sophomore. So I get that. And so he leaves school, he texts his friend, and he's like, nope, I'm going to do what every kid that has superpowers would do, and that's start a YouTube channel. And again, I can see a teenager nowadays doing that. So the whole thing is, he's going to live stream as he goes through these riffs, and he's going to take them, take his viewers wherever they want to go. Actually, a pretty neat concept. I'd sub to it and watch it. But as he's doing that, he starts to hear this voice telling him to stop, accept the crisis ultimatum, your infractions must cease. So he keeps riffing, and this voice keeps following him. And that leads to kind of... And he thinks, again, I'm trying to get away from this, so he keeps rifting. And it turns out that that's, again, the biggest problem. So he ends up rifting and meeting the person who has been talking. And it seems like, again, a great build-up to what the beginning of this series is. I liked it. I recommend it. Move the needle. Buy this book. It was very good. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.